from time to time.
Yeah, I'll try and provide as best color commentary as I can.
But understandably, we have a tired couch, so it's okay. He's done a wonderful job making sure that this took off with a bang. And couch, mad props to you, man. Mad props.
Oh, well, it wouldn't be what it is without you all. So it's not just me; it's everyone. It's a giant team effort, and thank you all so much. But I'm ready to see some Kirby Superstar.
So I'm probably going to be quiet for about the first 2 minutes of the run, and then I'll pop in with some commentary. There is something I have to focus on within the first 30 seconds. I have a mix that I have to do, but I'll let UA explain that after I get going in 3, 2, 1.
Good luck.
Oh, all right. So with Kirby Superstar, there is an ability to basically just like any other Kirby, you suck up enemies and you can get their abilities. Well, with Kirby Superstar, you can suck up 2 enemies and it gives you the ability to do what's called mix. And it kind of runs through a selection of abilities, and he's got a certain amount of time to select the right ability. He's going to be selecting Rocket and basically making it to where he can go fast in an A horizontal movement, as you see. So it's a pretty precise trick. That's why he needed that focus in there. And just like with any other game, auto-scrollers are the most fun ever. They're the speedrunner's dream, right? It looks like we are having sound issues. Yeah, so he's going to see what he can do right now. It is not capturing the game audio or his actual vocal audio either, so we're having trouble with that. Just a moment on that, guys.
Probably because my mic was muted. I may have needed to turn up my dazzle. My mic was actually muted the whole time, and I didn't even realize it because I muted it during setup. So, hopefully, there will be audio, and if not, then I am not 100% certain what I can do to fix it. And this is actually why I gave a 125 estimate, is because I know issues like this arise.
It does sound like game audio is still having trouble, but you are coming through.
Okay. Yeah, I'll turn up the audio in the next canon section. I'm just gonna max out my Dazzle audio again. There we go. And when I say max out, I mean quote, max out, unquote. So, quick explanation real quick, because I skipped 2 mini-bosses. I skipped one in the castle area and then one in here. By charging up your jet completely, storing the charge, and jumping over the top of the screen, you can effectively skip mini-bosses. Oh, that was close. And unfortunately, I'm in one of the more execution-heavy levels right now. But by doing this, you can skip mini-bosses throughout the game pretty much as you so please. There are some mini-bosses you can't skip, but those are few and far between. So, one thing that we should probably mention about Jet is that Jet does have the fastest horizontal movement in the game, but it does not have the fastest vertical movement. The fastest vertical movement will be shown off later on in the run. But we have hit both of the ability switches in Dynablade, which are part of the 100% category. And now we're going to be on to do 3 mini-boss skips, and then we'll fight Dynablade and hopefully get a quick kill on her. And I'm going to have to remember to not split. Oh, that was almost bad. So, there we go. We skipped 3 mini-bosses there. We skipped a Poppy Bros Senior, 2 Poppy Bros Seniors, a Bonkers, and a Frosty. And now we're at the summit of the mountain that Dynablade rests on, and now we're going to defeat Dynablade in a very fun manner. If I can nail it. There we go. So, what I attempted to do the first time and failed, but got the second time, is the stars that come out from Dynablade's feet when she lands act as enemies on the screen. And one thing you can do with enemies is if you're close enough to them and you hit any direction on the D-pad, you can actually grab them and suplex them with Jet. Now, this turns the enemy into a projectile that can then be used to damage Dynablade for 60 damage per hit. Now, you may have noticed that I'm running on the Japanese version, and that is specifically for this game mode. Revenge of Meta Knight, you save about a minute to a minute and a half just in text. The credits as well at the end of Milky Way Wishes are much shorter. So there's a 3-tick mix for Jet right there. By mixing Beam and Yo-Yo, it starts us on Wing, and the 2 abilities after Wing are Wheel and Jet. So now we're on to the first fight against Heavy Lobster, which is relatively easy. Sit, wait, mash Y. Hopefully game audio is coming through a little better now, and if not, then I've got another spot that I can fix it at.
Yeah, game audio does sound like it's having a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure what may be caused.
I'll take a look at my settings here very shortly. Because
yeah,
I'm actually coming
the only
to
game
the auto-scroller.
Yeah, the only game audio that's coming through is like coming through your mic in the background.
That's not good. Because I actually, like, I've got my stuff set up as I normally would at this point, and with it not coming through, I am not sure what's going on.
But hey, with this auto scroller, it adds water too. Everybody loves water levels and auto. Anybody having terrible Mario flashback?
Actually, I can't really do much on this auto scroller because this is one that I have to actually do stuff in, otherwise I'd die. So I'll see if I can't fix it during the next little cutscene that comes up. So, Wispy Wood's very easy. Twin Wood's also very easy. Just run into them and mash Y.
Yeah, and in true speedrunner fashion, as you come down in, charge up and hit them right before they even start their.
Okay. If it's still not coming through at this point, I really don't know what's going on. So, we're actually coming up to a double bonkers fight, and I'll see if I can't quick kill both of them. I missed the second one. So, same concept as quick killing Chef Kawasaki to double jump underneath the bonkers, but the second one has 2 of 3 things it can do. It can either do 3 jumps, it can do 1 large jump, or it can just sit, look at you, and then turn around and start attacking you. And I got one of the good patterns and just didn't even perform on it.
Sounds like it's going to do the cha-cha slide. 2 hops for this time.
Yeah. Hope game audio is coming through.
Game audio is still coming through your mic. I'm not sure what it is. There is a slight like buzz, but it's all good, man. We're doing just fine.
Yeah. No worries about it. Just keep doing the run, dude.
So, unfortunately, I got very terrible spacing on my jet movement. I just didn't line it up very well. So I got hit by a few enemies there, which isn't entirely the end of the world. It just means I have to take this upcoming section a little safer. But, upside on this is I can actually skip these elevators, which will then result in me being able to skip the cannons and make it into this door relatively quickly. So we have another mini-boss quick kill coming up with that Jew Kid, like Judo Kid, and Poppy Bros Sr. And now we're coming up to Combo Cannon, or Main Cannon number 2, as you might know it in the Superstar Ultra version. So what we're going to do, or what we just did, was grab the bomb after using a fully charged jet to get into the cannon, use the back thruster on the bomb to heavily damage the cannon, and then finish it off with just 2 taps of Y.
You know, I think this is probably the first game to make me toss my controller as a younger child, because this game was not the easiest.
I can imagine watching it being sped run is like, how would you do this casually?
To tell you the truth, I've tried and I can't anymore.
I was always quite terrible at Kirby games, but the music was good, so that's all that mattered to me.
Alright, so we actually have access to the halberd now. And we're going to be coming up to a very familiar boss fight. You might remember this guy if you were paying attention at the beginning of the game mode. So...
Or if you play Smash Brothers.
Yeah, or if you play Smash. Now, there is a little bit of a meme that I'm going to do called 100% blocks. Because your 100% run isn't truly verified unless you destroy all the blocks in this auto-scroller. Which, I've destroyed all the blocks that I can destroy. So, now we're just gonna have the vertical auto-scroll. And I'm just gonna keep quick canceling my jet charge. And now we're gonna take out Heavy Lobster. So Heavy Lobster is down just like that. And now I'm actually going to be getting rid of Jet. And you might be wondering, which ability are you going to switch to if you're getting rid of Jet? Well, this is a fun little section I like to call 500 APM, because the ability I'm switching to is Plasma, and the power of Plasma is based on your D-pad inputs. UA, if you wouldn't mind explaining that real quick.
So there is power incrementation number. Basically, 7 through 9 is the spark, and 10 through 15 is laser, and then 16 plus is wave. Now, unfortunately, I can't really explain too much more than that. That's what I was explaining to before this run, but Plasma is basically superpower.
That's actually exactly what I needed for you to explain, because you will actually see all of the attacks coming up in the main reactor fight, and this fight is interesting, to say the least. So, hopefully this fight goes well.
I'm curious is there any deep lore for this game?
Press button, hurt stuff.
Not really, actually.
Dang. You need to make up some lore on the go.
The lore is one day Kirby decided to pop up on screen, give the weirdest look possible, and Meta Knight was like, "No, bro, that's not cool. I was just flying through the air, and you had to come and wreck my ship, man. What's up with that? I literally was just out on a date, and now my wife left me. What's up?"
I like it. Lore on the fly, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's why he's always mad.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, auto-scrollers with Plasma are opportunities as speedrunners to really show off what we can do with Plasma.
Exactly. Meta Knight's wife took the kids and left him with like the multi-$1,000 a month payment on this giant ship, and Kirby's coming through and raising the insurance rates. Kirby's just a bad insurance salesman. That's all.
Ooh, that was bad. So that did not go according to plan at all. I was actually supposed to be able to kill all of the Meta Knights from the top of that screen. But it's okay. We got them all killed, we were able to progress, and now we're on to the Meta Knight fight. Just gives us a little more time to play around with Plasma and actually be at 500 APM. But now it's time for the Meta Knight fight, where I need to make sure I get as many powerful attacks as I can. Now, if I timed my A press correctly, Kirby should be normal. And we're going to see a glitched wheelie sprite. There you go.
That's slightly disturbing.
That's fancy.
Oh, yeah, and there's no music here. Oh, there it is. My spacing was not set correctly. One thing I should probably mention while on wheelie is that when you jump on wheelie, it works the same way as arm pumping does in Super Metroid, where you get pushed forward 1 pixel. So the next game mode is Spring Breeze, and if any of you have played Kirby's Dream Land, then you'll recognize most of these stages. So, unfortunately, I really don't have much to talk about during Spring Breeze until the second stage.
Talk about the awesome music.
What music?
That's fair.
There's music to this game? What?
The music's playing in my head.
I mean, I would offer to like beatbox the music, but I think I would probably disturb everybody on that. But now it's Tree Guy 2.0. You know, not only is he a bad insurance salesman and wrecking people's cars and helping, you know, commit insurance fraud, he comes into the forest and literally beats up on sentient trees.
Beats up on the ants. How dare he?
Alright, so I'm hoping to lose my ability here. Of course it doesn't happen. So I'm actually going to have to do a different strat at the end of Lololo on La 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 that I'm going to have to pay attention for a sound cue. So I'm going to grab the Crash Bomb ability. And bye Lololo, bye La La La. By despawning my partner as the fade out happens, I save 8 seconds, quite literally. Because it takes that long to create an item from your partner. And I can only do that on the fade out, and I have maybe a half-second window for that.
So, serious question here: The Adventures of Lolo is that a spin-off from?
Yes.
Or did they just make a guest appearance in Kirby? They're actually Kirby characters. I didn't.
Yeah, Lololo and La 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 are actual Kirby characters. You fight both of them in Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy.
Wow, so The Adventures of Lolo is actually a Kirby spin-off. That's nuts. I did not know that. Today.
So, I should probably go over this real quick. You may have noticed I chip-killed Kracko Jr. That is because I did a dash spit with a Waddle Doo, dealing 99 damage. And the shield hit did exactly 1 damage to deal 100 damage in total. With Kracko Sr., I used Stone twice, and that just takes out all of Kracko Sr.'s HP. Now, DDD. DDD has a lot of iframes, and I'm not even kidding when I say a lot. But you can kill DDD very quickly with Stone.
Seems like Stone is OP.
It's not as OP as Plasma. So, now we're on to Gourmet Race, which has the best music that you guys cannot hear, unfortunately, because I've been having technical issues. And
Because you broke it.
I mean, pretty much. And you'll be able to see what the best vertical movement power-up in this game actually is in the third stage of this. 2185 stage 1, that's okay. It's still sub 22. I should probably mention the way I am maintaining my momentum whenever I jump, because if I would jump normally, I would drop back to just normal dash speed, is I'm actually releasing the D-pad a couple moments before I jump. So it preserves my momentum and allows me to keep this dash speed going into the air. So I just keep moving really fast. Makes sub 33 free for that course. And now we are on to the course where we get the best vertical movement ability in the game. It is Wing. And you will see as I cancel out some dive bombs.
So yeah, to confirm, actually, the Adventures of Lolo was before Kirby, but the developer on the Adventures of Lolo for the NES left the project to go over to Kirby. So he's kind of like been on the Kirby projects for the longest time. I just looked that up because that was something that was really curious.
That's actually good info to have. So, lots of dive bomb cancels coming up here. There we go. That's the end of Gourmet Race.
The look on DDD's face at the end of that was great, man.
He's just like, oh dear God, why? So now we're on to Resident Sleeper Cave Offensive. This is the treasure hunt of the game where I have to collect 60 treasures, all netting 9,999,990 G. And it's going to be about 23 minutes. But there is one major trick in this section of the run. And we'll explain it when we get closer to it. And I might even get my face eaten by one of the crocodile enemies.
This is one of the cooler layouts in the game, though. It's got like the little knife holding in the gold section and the kind of drawn-in map in the background. It's a really...
So quick thing on hitting both of those switches, that is actually pixel perfect, but the visual cue for lining it up is really, really nice because it's as soon as Kirby's foot touches the wall. That's when we do our down Y, and the dive bomb shoots out 2 orbs on either side, which hits both of those switches and allows us to just continue through the switch maze, allowing us to get the zebra mask with relative ease. So there's the Seiryu sword.
That is one expensive sword.
You might recognize that ball. I don't know what that's from. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not the screw attack. Now, I am coming up to a clip, and we're done. So, fun thing about that clip, if you line that up just right and then hold down while you're doing your dive bomb, you'll go through it every time. If you don't hold down, you don't go through. Oh, almost lost like 2 minutes there. So if I had died while trying to kill that Bonkers mini-boss, I would have definitely lost 2 minutes. And that would have been unfortunate, and I would have been very sad. But I didn't die, so I don't have to be very sad. I can be pretty happy so far with how this has been going. So we're coming up to the first boss of Great Cave Offensive, Fatty Whale. And I'm actually going to be switching out of Wing and switching back to Jet. This is due to Jet being the fastest ability to kill Fatty Whale with at this point of the run. If I could get Plasma, I probably would. But that would require me doing a mix and learning another mix timing, where the 2, potentially 3 mixes in this run are already pretty daunting to begin with. But let's see what pattern Fatty Whale gives me. And he gives me the bad pattern. I wanted to see small breaches instead of the large breach. But I can't really complain too much because Fatty Whale's gone.
And this is like the Bismarck reference.
Yep. And now we're coming up to a thing called cart skip, so I'm probably going to be a little quiet here. Okay. Decent cart skip overall. So yeah, the minecarts, they're honestly just suggestions in this game. You don't have to take them. And now I'm on to the Crystal Garden section, which will have my least favorite boss at the end of it. But before that, we gotta continue collecting treasures, and I'll see if I can get a task strat here, which I got it. So, by fully charging Jet and using it to grab that treasure that I just grabbed, you save a grand total of 1 frame.
Totally worth.
It's worth the swag.
Save the frames, kill the animals. Since we're full of game references.
I mean, this is the game reference section of the game. Oh, there's an Amber Rose. I don't know what that's from, though. So, next 2 treasures are going to be a couple of fossils. You know, fish fossil and a beast fossil. How that resembles a beast fossil, I have no idea, but the fish fossil actually makes sense. So, I actually went for the fastest kill strat on the Poppy Bros Senior and nailed it, which doesn't happen very often anymore. That strat actually saves half of a second overall compared to charging up your Jet beforehand, running in, and double jumping underneath Poppy Bros Senior. And this room is both the easiest and hardest room of the game, because you can lose so much time just by getting hung up on these walls.
Water levels, they are run kill.
They most definitely are.
I don't think there's a game that I've ever met that has a water level that's not like a speedrunner's worst nightmare.
Wait until you see Aqualus in Milky
I mean-
Delicious.
I mean, it's in the name. It says Aqua.
Yeah, but I will admit, that is a water level I like. So now we're on to the last section of the Crystal Garden. And this is by far the easiest section of the treasure hunt, because I honestly do not have to do much in here. It's just grab 5, maybe 6 treasures. Lose Jet along the way. You know, normal stuff. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to run a backup of Cutter. But that's perfectly fine because I actually know how to run the backup in this area.
Smooth transition, by the way.
Thanks.
I do have a donation if we're good to read one.
Go for it.
All right. Jaxus X donated $10 saying, kicking in my share. We love and miss you, Dr. D. Thank you for everything you have done for all of us. Thank you so much, Jaxus. Much appreciated.
So, if y'all don't like computer viruses, don't worry, neither do I. Because RNG is a pain on this boss. And having the inability to execute is a pain on this boss as well. Oh, there's RNG saying nope.
I gotta admit, though, this boss is pretty inventive and cool. I like the idea behind it.
So, those balls that come out from the dive bomb deal damage as well. And we'll see them actually deal damage again later on in the actual tower section, which has the trick that I mentioned earlier on in this section. So we're going to do a half cart skip here. We'll take the cart about halfway and then jump out of it, and we're done. So there is one room in this section of Great Cave that I am not looking forward to, and that is the sleep room. So if I happen to get hit with sleep, be prepared with your resident sleepers. Or, you know, I could just enter the door again. That works too. So we got the Mr. Saturn. Now we got to make it out of here alive. And we're good. So that's the scariest room in the game for two reasons. One, sleep sucks. Two, if you get sleep, you lose your ability. And speaking of losing ability, I might be dying early. And I don't want to die yet. So I'll go ahead and grab that food for safety.
That's why they have marathon safe strats. I'm sure Couch is over there going, sleep sucks? No, I disagree. Sleep sounds great.
Something like that. I'm just over here trying to process what's going on in this run, and it's not working.
There's a lot to process in this run.
I'm sure it's completely fascinating, though, watching it all happen, just like, he's moving fast.
So, we're actually going to go into Gamilio Arm's room and then go out. You'll find out why. I may have mentioned something about dying earlier and not wanting to just yet. There's a good reason why. All three of my lives are actually going to be used in this run.
Anyone else ever wonder why Kirby suddenly turns into 8 tons?
Oh, if we're lucky, we might actually see a Golden Mario.
I would love to know the lore behind that. From a little pink puff that floats around to something that says 8 tons.
I mean, that's the stone ability for you. Good job, Birdon. So, all the damage I'm taking here is completely intentional. You all feel free to call me a scrub as soon as I die, because it's inevitable. There we go.
It's like Kirby Pinball.
So Gordos deal the most damage out of anything in this game that isn't an instant kill. And that was a beautiful Gamilio arm.
Now, Do you usually have cutter at this point, or are you still up on the backup strat?
No, I was in backup strats when I lost Jet.
Okay. I thought you usually use jet.
Yeah, the section that I lost Jet in, I was in full backup strats. But this section, on the other hand, I'm back on my main strats. So I'll actually be switching back to Jet here in a couple moments. Just got to grab these 2 treasures, create a bird on, despawn the bird on, because the door transition actually allows me to instantly despawn the bird on. And then we're going back to where we first entered the tower from. And we're grabbing this treasure right here, which is the Teuton's Mask.
It's actually called Teuton's Mask?
Tutankhamun's Mask, but yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, did the game actually like shorten the name? Like that's like awesome Egypt lore, man. That's like the perfect time.
Yeah, I really wish it fully shortened his name to, well, not fully shortened, because if it did, it would be King Tut, which they actually did that in the English version. But I wish they had made it Teuton's Mask.
Yeah, I didn't even know what you were picking up until I saw the thing pop up, and I was like, oh, that is King Tut. Cool.
So we have another death warp coming up here after getting that bonkers to jump into the void. So we're going to grab a unicorn horn, and then we're going to die one more time. And this is where the easiest mix comes into play. So I'm going to grab Parasol and Beam again, and I'm just going to let this mix run out. I'm not holding my controller right now. It auto stops on Mirror, and Mirror is going to be very important for the last few treasures in this section. So we are actually going to be coming up to a thing called Pool Skip, but before that, I actually have a pixel perfect, movement perfect trick to do that I missed on the first try, got it on the second try. And that movement pixel perfect trick is the precursor to what is coming up, which is Pool Skip. UA, would you mind going ahead and starting on Pool Skip?
So, as far as the area is concerned, I actually don't know much about the area, but what's going on with the actual skip itself? There's these bombs that he has to hit, and in order to execute the skip at the lowest possible pixel that Kirby can be while using Mirror, you execute it, and it allows the ability to hit the bomb and completely skip over an entire area. Saves about 30 seconds if done correctly on the third try. Up to the fifth try is when you start to lose some time, but really it's just the best route to take, even after doing it 5 times, which you were about to see first try right there.
I was about to say, I got 2 words for that Pool Skip. First try! Oh, that was glorious. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that, I will admit, I made look a lot easier than it really is. On average, I get that third try. That was pixel perfect, frame perfect, as well as my movement had to be absolutely neutral. Because if my movement is not neutral, then I will split diagonally or even horizontally with Mirror.
So there's a lot of specifics that go into that with frame, pixel. Just the timing is extremely specific. That's why it takes a few tries on average. Getting it first try is pretty important.
And And I won the race against the chicken, so I can keep running this game.
You did the chicken skip?
Something like that. So we're actually in the final area of Great Cave Offensive now, and we're coming to the end of the Resident Sleeper portion of the run. And this is actually where the hardest boss kill will come into play. Not even the one cycle on the very final boss is as hard as killing the boss of this game mode efficiently. By the way, if you paid attention, I may have displaced that raccoon doll's positioning ever so slightly. Thank you, Grizzo, for causing me to lose my ability. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I still have to sometimes count some of the uses of jet for movement.
I've heard stranger things of speedrunners having to do things.
I mean, Couch totally wouldn't know about this, having to count to 63 door transitions.
It's always a good time. Counting is always fun.
Oh, yeah. So we got the Orichalcum from the chest that we had to use the Crash Bomb ability. And that is the end of the right door. And we're going to go on the left door next, because the center door on the bottom is the one that actually leads to the final boss of this area. But before I actually entered the door, I wanted to change my Capsule J back into an item so that way I could get Jet again. So now we've got a necklace with an Ankh on it. And we're going to get my favorite item in Great Cave Offensive. It's your festive tree. Ah, I thought I made it in the cannon. So you can use Jet to light fuses for cannons or whatever else you may need to light fuses for. But you can also use Jet to make your movement faster in order to grab chests. And if you hold up whenever you run across a chest while using Jet, you will automatically open it. So this room is kind of scary looking. But after done a couple times, it's super easy.
What, a room with spikes is scary? Never.
Nah.
Not even a little bit.
I'm chancing this just a little bit right now. My health is kind of low, and I do have one area that I can take a hit in. I didn't want to grab wheel. Alright, so we've got the hardest treasure to get, which is a tire. And that section that I just went through is probably the hardest section to learn for both casually playing this game and speedrunning this game, because the strats are identical. And if you haven't played this game in years like me before I actually picked this up for speedrunning, it was a nightmare to relearn. But looking at my gold count, I'm at the amount of gold that I want to have before I enter the last door in this game mode, which is 9,159,990. Because the two treasures I have left are 40,000 gold and 800,000 gold. And I'll let you find out what those treasures are momentarily. But first, I have to grab Cutter in order to make it through this upcoming section. So you can actually skip the platforms by flying up from underneath them, but there is a way to skip the platforms entirely. It's not the easiest method to do, but it's called cutter skip. It's actually really difficult to do, and one tile gaps are my worst nightmare in this game.
Yo, the Triforce.
Yep, the Triforce is the last item. So I'm going to try for a quick kill here. I'm going to focus for a little bit. Okay, that's about half. That's good. Perfect. So that's one of the better kills to get on Wham Bam Rock, because I was able to do a strategy that I'll actually be using during Milky Way Wishes as well. And that is actually getting up into Wham Bam Rock's hitbox before he spawns, starting to rev up Wheel, which does damage per frame, and it does a lot of damage very quickly, and just whittling down his HP with a bunch of small hits. So now, we are on to Milky Way Wishes. And we're going to start off with Sky High, because Sky High has the 3 main movement abilities in the game. This planet has Wing, Wheel, and Jet. So we're going to start off inhaling 2 blocks, or an enemy and a block. Get an animation cancel from the bird while swallowing the star block, and then grab Jet. And we've already got one of the biggest abilities to have in the game. And this cannon is actually going to lead us to the subsection with Wheel. We're going to enter a maze, and the solution to get the ability that's hidden within this maze is right, center, left, center. And then the solution to get to the boss from here is actually right, right, center.
So now in this section, each ability you pick up, you can change back to.
Yes. This has what are known as deluxe copy abilities. And I got what is the optimal kill for Krakow. So the next planet we're actually going to go to is Hotbeat, and from here on out, order doesn't entirely matter. But I do have a set order I play through just for ease of remembrance.
And besides, what is speedrunning without order?
I mean, that's a good point. So I'm actually going to create a wheel partner here for one reason and one reason alone. I want that super candy. But I want it specifically on my wheelie because wheelie's movement gets to be obscenely fast with super candy. And then I'll go ahead and grab Suplex after killing the Bugsy and then inhaling him. And we're actually going to stick with Jet for a decent portion of the run now. And we're actually about to come up to a second Gamilliarm fight, which we actually could have played a game called Guess Gamilliarm's Color. and I completely forgot about it until now. But Gamelio Arm is relatively easy with Jet. You can actually avoid the tongue by charging Jet, but I tend to not do that because I don't trust it. So, next planet on the list is Mechai, and Mechai has Yo-Yo. Let's see. Mechai has Yo-Yo and Plasma, if I remember correctly, and that's it for this planet. Thank you, B-Button, for finally responding. So, we're actually going to go into a room and skip an elevator in order to get down to the bottom as quickly as possible. And then, here's Yo-Yo. And now we're going to just float back up, and we're out of this room. So, I don't think I mentioned this, but when you double jump with Jet, you can actually hit things that are 2 blocks below you. So, if you can position yourself just right, you can hit bomb blocks that are underneath you, like you saw me do multiple times in Great Cave Offensive. So now we have Plasma, but we're not going to be using it just yet. Instead, we're actually going to be going into this heavy lobster fight with Wheel, and this is all we're going to do. So we're just going to sit on a wall. And just like that, Heavy Lobster's dead. The way that that works is if you hold down B and brake until you hit a wall and then let go of B, it deals damage per frame. So it acts as if you're in a revving state, deals damage per frame, and takes bosses down very quickly. So, we are now in Cavios. We are in mini-boss fight territories. Couch, if we have any donations, this would be a really good time for them.
We are currently up to date on donations. I do want to take a second to thank RGL again for allowing us to host, or for hosting this fantastic marathon that has more than exceeded my expectations. Thank you all so much. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, the viewers. Everybody who's donated, everybody who's shared, thank you all so much.
So we've got one more mini-boss to quick kill, which is just another Bugsy. And now we're on to the section where we're going to get stone. And I'm also going to make another wheelie rider because you're going to recognize the boss that we fight at the end of this stage. So we grab the super candy with wheelie. And that's right, we got Wham Bam Rock again.
It's easy to forget that this is multiple games in one.
And that's another Wham Bam Rock dead. Another quick kill down. So now we're on to a planet of nothing but tax. And if you actually look at it, Tack's name is cat spelled backwards. And they are copycats. So that little star only has copy. And that's the only reason we have to go there, is because if we don't get the 19 deluxe copy abilities, then this run would be invalid. Thank you, Wheelie, for not getting cold. So we're going to try to keep Wheelie around until closer to the end of Aquilus, which is actually the next planet. Didn't grab any food, which is good. We've got one more ability to grab here in Floria, and then we'll be fighting another very familiar boss. You might recognize this one because it got destroyed by Jet almost 40 minutes ago. Actually, maybe close to 50 minutes ago. Yeah, I got destroyed by Jet 50 minutes ago. So
Basically, the third time we've seen this.
yep, and we still get to see it one more time.
Yes, we do.
So we're on to my favorite planet, which is the water planet, Aquilus. This has a couple of interesting things in it. And I actually forgot to switch my ability to Jet at the end of Floria, so unfortunately there's a very, very minor time loss. But nothing too terrible. So we're actually going to switch into Wheel. And this is the only time you will see Wheel used by Kirby. Momentum Preservation. By revving up Wheel and then going into the water, you're able to preserve your momentum and move very quickly through the water. And we use that twice in that section in order to just blast through everything. So I'm actually going to go ahead and despawn my wheelie. So that way I can go through this little area relatively quickly. Gonna avoid the maximum tomato because we got one more. Ooh, that's not what I wanted, but that's okay. We'll make a backup that works. I actually do want to go ahead and die here because it sends me back to the entry to this room. Where I can just continue on with the stage. Now, the next ability I'm grabbing is Beam, and then we're going to go fight Fatty Whale again. And I will end up using Wheel on this fight. If I get one pattern, if I get a different pattern, I will probably be using Plasma and giving you a taste as to what the arena has in store. So, it is very possible to hit Fatty Whale with 2 shots of plasma in those breaches, though I just did not do it very well. And so, you can actually one-cycle Fatty Whale with this. But we're on to a planet now called Half Moon. This is probably the hardest planet for Milky Way wishes, and I'm going to be quiet for a little bit.
All right, so coming up we have Gargoyles by Cypherin next, and then following that we'll have a Blaster Master by Enemy, And then closing out, we'll have Newtopia run by Vonnie Fon. Stay tuned. Those are the 3 fantastic runs, and just keep this hype going.
So the first section of this planet is by far the hardest section. I have to go all the way up to the very top of the screen and then mash Y and count for 13 jet blasts. From there, I'm able to figure out where my location is on the map and dodge those electric blocks as efficiently as I can, because they have a very high chance to knock my ability out of me. It's about a 50% chance. So, mini bosses go down very quickly to plasma. All the mini bosses are actually very easy to kill with plasma. And we actually have the last ability we're getting in Milky Way Wishes, which is Ninja. And Ninja actually does have some movement use, as you'll see when I go into this boss room. So I'm going to try to set up a quick kill on the Evil Knight. And I did not get that at all. I completely botched that. The objective was to throw my hammer and deal the remaining 100 HP to the Evil Knight, just to get him out of the screen quickly. Too early on that hammer flip. There we go. So now we're practically done with Milky Way Wishes. And we're going to be moving on to the Heart of Nova, which is the Gradius section. So, if y'all want to think of a meme for this section, go for it. Because I'm probably not going to be talking again.
Side-scroller spaceship section. Every game needs this.
I mean, I figured it'd make you think of a certain game that's similar to how this is going.
I mean, this is almost like a deconstructed Star, which would be Gradius or Grandia, all those different named games back from arcade NES.
Yep. I tend to call this the Gradius section. So Heart of Nova is hopefully going to go well. There is a quick kill for this, and I'm going to see if I can do it. But there is a bit of butt clench involved in this. I took one hit for half my health. That's not good. Okay, we're good. Alright, so, marks. Marks can be one-cycled relatively easily. So, I'm actually going to focus, see if I can get the one cycle, and then I'll explain it afterwards. Bye, marks. There's the one cycle. So yeah, Marks just got absolutely obliterated. The objective is to hit Marks 5 times with the Ball Spark or Plasma Wave, which does 40 damage per shot. You deal 200 damage, and then you hit him with 3 more Plasma Waves and 1 Plasma Laser, which does another 152 damage. Marks has a total of 350 HP, so this overkills him by 2. And now we are actually on to 2 minutes and 55 seconds of credits, and then we have 10 seconds where the arena unlocks, and then we are on to nothing but just pure D-pad mashing. That's going to be all that's left for this run. And keep in mind, you will actually be able to see the Marks quick kill one more time in the arena, and you get to see me fight each and every boss, except for one, with Plasma. And the one boss I don't fight with Plasma, I fight with no ability. We're not quite done yet, Ultimatome. We are really close to it, though. Just so that way you can be like, that's a lot of damage! Alright, so we're coming into the final section of the run in and of itself. Keep in mind, down at the bottom right of the screen itself, you're going to notice the text say, "and more." But in the US version, it says, "there's more." So welcome to the arena. This is probably where I'm going to be the most quiet in the run, because I am going to be sweating buckets throughout all of this. Unfortunately, I missed the one cycle, but that's okay. Getting Hardenova out early. There are 4 maximum tomatoes that I can use to refill my HP if necessary. I should be okay in theory. Okay, this is the boss that I'm actually going to get rid of my ability for. Turn Plasma Wisp back into an item. Spit out the Waddle Dee, and that's it. So we're going to make another Plasma Wisp helper. And now we're on to D-pad mashing land.
Oh, baby. Get hype. So many clicky clickies.
Dynablade's great at this point. I've actually gotten the 2 big bosses I'm worried about down.
Alright, cool. Sounds like you're rocking it pretty good. This is a pretty exciting run. I've enjoyed not having a single clue what's going on, even though Sonny has been explaining every single thing from step 1. But yeah, I know I did just go over this, but coming up we have Gargoyles by Cyphrin. That is about a 14-minute estimate. Blaster Master, which is fantastic music from Enemy, and then closing out with Newtopia, which is a really, really good TurboGrafx 16 game. I've actually never even heard of until I saw Vonnie Vaughn run it. So yeah, I'm excited for these next 3 games. I hope all you are as well.
So you may have noticed with Wham Bam Rock, I actually killed him when his hand came down to the ground for the second time. That is extremely difficult to do. So my mashing was beyond on point. Missed Krakow by 1 HP. That's unfortunate. Last double shot boss, combo cannon. Oof. Took a hit there. It's alright. So, DDD's iframes are a thing in this fight, but I don't have to worry about them all that much. So we get to see main reactor again. And just like that, main reactor's gone. And this is the last sighting of Twinwoods we will have in the run.
Oh, you're telling me no more trees?
We got one more tree. Wispy Woods is still in this pool.
Ooh, fancy.
Alright. So, Gamelio Arm is going to be relatively easy. Another boss with extended iframes. And we got battle windows. So, I can explain this very quickly before I do it. There is a possibility of 2-cycling the dragon with plasma. I'll see if I can do it. Okay. Good. Let's see if we can get it. Okay. Dragon's scritching me. Okay, 136 is exactly what I want to see. We got the 2-cycle. That saves 5 seconds.
Very nice.
So we have Wispy Woods and Marks remaining, and this is going to be a very easy 118, maybe 119. Bye, Marks.
All right.
Wait for it. Time.
GG, man.
That was an easy 118.51. Now, I did actually have a glitch I want to show off, but considering time constraints, I think it'd be better if we move on to the next run. So, thank you guys for watching. That was Kirby Superstar 100% in just under an hour and 19 minutes.
Well, thank you very much, Sonny. It was a fantastic run, and you did a very good job of explaining things while you were doing them. I just didn't understand it.
Thanks, Couch.
But no, you did very good. GG. Thank you for submitting this run. I was pretty happy to accept it in.
I mean, thank you for accepting me. This is one of my favorite runs to do, and probably my best run by far.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you all for watching, and